This is a series of a couple of tests that I did in trying to figure out how to smooth some of the toolpath travel as it went around a curve. And on the screen here, the distance, the width of this part is about 1 inch. So this is pretty much zoomed in. And I was pushing the speed at 400 inches per minute because one of the first things I do is just use a Sharpie to outline where I'm going to be cutting before I actually run the cutting tools. And I noticed that as it transitioned around the curves at that speed, it was very jerky. And when I'm down in my normal cutting speed, which is between 20 and 200 inches per minute, it's not that bad. But at 400 it becomes very pronounced. So it got me to thinking, well, how could I smooth this out? And so what I typically do is when I draw these arcs in here, I'm copying from a JPEG. So in the node editing mode, what I end up with are these nodes with handles that define the geometry. And these I make myself by pushing and pulling the handles. And you notice that the boxes are black, which means they're not smoothed. If you right click and you smooth a point, that changes the geometry ever so slightly of it, and it also changes how, when you pull the handles, the curve responds. So typically I don't smooth those points. So what I wanted to try was test that would actually fit curves to selected vectors. So here there's 3 different options: circular arcs, Bezier curves, and straight lines. So I set the tolerance down to 5/1000ths of an inch and I allow it to make sharp turns. And if you do straight lines, you get a lot of points or a lot of nodes. I tested this on the machine. This does not make it run smoother. So I'm not even going to demo this. So I had the idea, I noticed that when I did Bezier curves, not only did it smooth them, but it actually turned all the nodes smooth. So I thought, okay, this looks promising. The geometry really didn't change any, and I'm envisioning in my head that the machine would run smoother as it went around these turns. In actuality, it didn't seem to make any difference at all. So then I went one step further and I did circular arcs. And there's the preview for circular arcs. So you see that there's more nodes now. So I had the impression that maybe that would make it jerky. But in actuality, this actually had a noticeable improvement. It was not a cure-all. It did not fix the Excel deceleration. But I'm going to run these tests right now on the machine. I've got 3 different tap files. And you can hear it more than you can see it from when the steppers change their speed. So let me move this out of the way. So the first file I'll run is as drawn originally without smooth nodes with Bezier curves. Alright, I'm going to stop that file. So this part is a couple of long straightaways and then a bunch of radiusing that's irregular shaped at both ends. So the test I'm going to run now is fit to curve, but Bezier, and then all the points become smooth. So not much difference there. So the last one I'm going to run is fit to circular arcs. And this one, if you notice when it gets to the ends and it starts to radius around, it actually does run smoother. It's not completely smooth, but it is smoother. So on this last one, even though it's accelerating and decelerating, what I'm hearing here, maybe it doesn't come through as clear, is that it's not as abrupt. So it's a little softer sounding, and when it goes around the radiuses, it doesn't have as harsh a sound to it. So it's going in the right direction, not the cure-all, but thought this might be worth sharing. Okay, thanks.